Welcome to this educational space in which I will be developing some reflection regarding a very interesting topic that, as you can see on the screen, is called action research. I'm Luis Molina and I hope you like the idea of the podcasts. So I would like to introduce you to the topic. Well, one of the most important aspects of teaching, not only today, but for many years, is the desire to reinvent the pedagogical actions that impact greatly meaningful experience day by day. Obviously, teachers feel the desire to develop the expertise of the teaching and something that usually takes them to make a review of their practices into a classroom. According to Venegas and Consol in 2020, in their article called Action Research in Language Education, they asked the question, why do teachers wish to ask and to investigate their actions? I think it is an excellent question which I will try to give an answer based on the arguments of the author and some ideas that I would like to add. In addition, I will do the same exercise that proposes the above mentioned question. The idea of this video is to take the most relevant ideas and document, and I will give you my opinions as it progresses. Well, in first instance, I would like to focus on the central theme of the article, which is action research as a theoretical terms of analysis. The author rely on all references that give a definition of the concept, from which I chose Burns in 2010, which states that it is a self-reflective, critical, and systematic approach. Well, based on this idea, I would like to add that the reflection I make at the beginning, the result of these mixtures is that action research refers to the research strategies used by many teachers to first analyze their classroom practices and then to develop a follow-up and improvement plans. So, this is a process through which teachers act to their pedagogic in order to improve negative aspects or further strengthen the positive aspects, as the author states in their article. The authors may mention a context and some agents, right? Where they highlight the importance of the context, which is seen as a global or socio-educational landscape in which all the elements that make education and action research possible are immersed. Elements such as the institution, lesson plans, regulations, geographical conditions, etc. In short, the context is the background where all teaching occurs. However, it is important to mention that this process needs to be interviewed by agents, on which all responsibility from research is centered. The authors mention that the importance of the career in terms of teaching experiences. They also make clear that it is a process that ranges from primary school teachers and university teachers, right? They also make reference that to the fact that they are in charge in creating reflections on the action and development of practices. And on the other hand, I have the students who are also classified as agents, and their role is based on being the population sample on which the research falls. However, Consoli and Venegas consider that both agents were on the same investigative level and that they could be co-investigators to reach negotiations according to the reflection. I already mentioned that about the context and their respective agents. However, the nature of the investigation must be considered. There is an issue. Further, everything is born to the teacher's support. As I said before, it shouldn't be a negative practice in most cases, right? But it's also the interest of maximizing a positive practice. And finally, the authors develop the ethical issues, which are intended to develop into the researcher greater autonomy and authenticity in terms of the reflection. In addition to providing resources for a better methodological approach, some of these ethical considerations could be or are respect, power, benefits, participation, etc. I promised at the beginning of this video that I would do the same exercise that the authors propose in their article. First, I would like to place you in time and context. I am a language teacher and I'm currently doing my practices in primary school. However, I have more 1 year's experience in English teaching language with different educational levels and with students with different ages. My experience is immersed in the city of Valledupar, through which I have made some reflections and analysis regarding how I'm carrying out the English teaching language processes. And well, I consider that I have done a successful teaching. My students usually demonstrate their advancement through their oral and textual products regarding the appropriation of English language. And well, from this moment, I would like to reflect on how the English teaching processes are being carried out in the context of Valledupar. And I would like to indicate that Valledupar is a city which rich in culture, especially in the musical aspect. It is classified as the work capital of Vallenato. This appreciation leads to having a specific sociocultural elements which I would like to rename as vocabulary, a very particular vocabulary type of that is not usually included in English language teaching lesson plans. So I would like to take advantage of this to all this cultural richness and often incorporating the creation of products, especially written products, for example, in which a way that the student is able to develop an English language culture that serves as a appropriation of into the language or into the vocabulary. That is part of the cultural identity. This strategy can be incorporated in exercises of written production and in the appropriation of the grammatical aspects of the English language. Another issue which I identified is the lack of organization in teaching of verb tenses. Many teachers don't usually keep in order or regarding the verb tensing according to their grammatical nature. In order to teach this, for example, I would say the future simple, and the next class they teach, for example, the past perfect, which means that the student feels confused in terms of following stretches to construct those verb tenses. And well, I recognize that I previously also made the same mistake. However, I've been improving these aspects. And now, what I propose is that the classification of verb tenses according to their tense and according to their conjugation. That is, initially, tenses are past, perfect, past, present, and future, right? And then I continue with the conjugation in a simple, continuous, and perfect way, right? And well, these two issues that I just mentioned are adjusted to the ideals of Venegas and Consoli, which involve the context, which I already spoke about, two agents that, in this case, I would like to place my students on the same line, in the same plane, where they can serve as co-investigators of the process. In the same way, these two issues would count with ethical considerations that allow greater discipline, commitment, and dynamic teaching of the moments of carrying out the development of the theoretical approach and methodological strategies, among which I would like to highlight the participation, authorship, ownership, respect, and power, among others. In addition, to bring with the benefits such as greater appropriation of the cultural context of the student development, which will contribute to its identity, in addition to promoting teaching with greater meaning and contextual coherence. In this way, a teaching route is developed with a fully defined meaning that promises to keep students contextualized in terms of environment. And well, to close these podcasts, I would like to give a general reflection on the central topic. For me, this exercise is very important because it leads me to process of reviewing my practices to enhance them more and to be able to achieve a better English teaching. And also, my students feel really motivated by the learning process, right? Which through the action, it can make it dynamic, meaningful, and for the rest of their life. And well, I have just finished this podcast, and I hope you enjoy it as much as I enjoy it regarding it. And so, see you